scenario, no case in which you would make wudu, or you would use water for some parts of your body and then dry ablution for other parts. It's never the case. It's one or the other, completely binary. Having said that, there is some guidelines in terms of, or method rather, in terms of performing tayammum. And can anyone help us? How do you perform tayammum? What do we have to cover in terms of our body? Intention, niyat has to be there. And then face and hands. Now in the Maliki fiqh, Hanbali fiqh, it's only up to the wrist. Face and up to the wrist. And the Hanafi, Shafi, and Maliki fiqh up to the elbows. Okay, so if someone's doing it, perhaps they're following that fiqh, don't tell them, oh, do more. If they do it up to here, they're following that fiqh, khair, inshallah. But according to the other madhahib, majority of them, you will, and also how many times you use the dust, you pat it once, it's sufficient, you have enough to use it for your face. You have to do it again for your hands. In the Hanbali fiqh, once for your hands, and hands is enough. So how do we do it? Again, what are the objects we can use? So keep in mind that dust is acceptable, not dirt. So the examples are generally given in these books of fiqh regarding sand or dust that has settled on top of a brick, on top of a desk or whatever tool or a book, and people are using that. That dust is different from the dust that settles in this building or outside in the car. You can't apply that, so you have to be aware culturally, and you have to be aware of the environment in which the author is speaking and the book is being transmitted. They're talking about lands in the desert where the dust is blowing all the time. That dust settling onto the desk, onto the floor or the windowsill, that's actually sand. That's actually the dust, the dirt from the land, the soil that's there. Our cars, the dust or the dirt that's on it is not sand. It's not soil. It's pollution. You do masa with that, you may have an allergic reaction. First of all, masa will not be complete. You can't use that. It's dirt. That's soot, that blackness, it's pollution. So make sure you distinguish between the two. What can be used? Bricks, anything that has not been manufactured artificially, raw material that has been put together, you can use that. Rocks, you can use that. Limestone, all these things from the earth, you can use all those things. Many times I've visited people in LIJ, and I myself went outside and grabbed a rock from our own community. The rocks here, took small with me and gave it to someone who's in the hospital. They did tayammum with it and were able to perform their salah because they had many reasons they could do it. So being aware of that situation, it is important. We pat the dust or take the rock and go over your hand. This is done, right? You have your entire hand. You take it and from your top all the way, your face, covering this area as well, your face, over your eyelids, and masa is done for the face. You do it again. You separate these two fingers from these three. You start from the bottom, leaving this alone, and you come on top like that. Again, like this, cover on top, like that. Same thing with this hand. You go in the bottom, not using these two. You go in the bottom, come on top. Tayammum is done. How easy it is? It's done. Alhamdulillah. Next time, we will continue and speak about the criteria for the khuffain. There are differences of opinion. The only thing I'd like you to think about is if masa over khuffain, over your socks is being allowed, all I want you to think about until our next gathering is what is the definition of a sock. That's what I want you to think about, and I want you to think about it even in American context. What does that mean? What's the limitation? Remember, fiqh and sharia, it's always about the limits. What are the limits? What are the hudud? Where can I go up to? Where can I push? So I want you to think about, before getting into the different opinions, think about, if I can do masa over socks, then what is the definition of this socks? Is it any socks? Is it cotton? Is it polyester? Is it even, there are such thin socks that are being produced now, are see-through. They're literally threads. There are some socks that there are holes on the feet, right? You put them on and there are holes on the toes, right? So the toes come out and the socks goes on. Where are the limitations? How will I know those limitations? Because remember, fiqh is all about limits. So just leaving you with that lingering thought before we delve into that discussion, inshallah, and inshallah that'll help you contextualize the discussion better. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.